Welcome back, and believe it or not, the next sport coming to campus is triathlon, and we have the new Cardinal coach, Danny Garrison, on to talk about it. And Coach, first thing first is I want to talk about what exactly is college triathlon, because it was just approved by the NCAA.
Yeah, so college triathlon is similar to draft legal triathlon in the Olympics. So it's a sprint distance triathlon. It's an 800-meter swim, a 20-kilometer bike, and a 5-kilometer run. The bike is draft legal, so that means just like in the Tour de France, if people are watching TV, people are biking close together in a pack. So the girls are coming out of the water and biking together, usually doing 4 5-kilometer loops. So it's fun to watch. And then usually the run is 2 loops of the 5K. So that's essentially what college triathlon is. It's the kids who are doing it now in high school. They do have a junior wave of it in the country that races at that same distance, the same kind of racing, but it's not a high school sport.
Now, one of the difficulties that I've kind of understood about triathlons is the transition stuff, because you have to get in and out of certain gear, or you're in gear that kind of allows you to go to these different events. Is that one of the things that is something that you have to work on over time in triathlons? Yeah,
for sure. It's something that when you start the sport, I'm sure you're a lot slower at, but just like swimming, biking, and running, transition is something you have to work on and hone your skills. So that is something that you have to train doing. Some people, I would say most people who do triathlon probably don't train it as enough as they should do it. But yeah, as a coach in college, we will be making that a very quick transition. Really all it is coming out of the water, and your bike shoes should already be on your bike in college triathlon, and you're just jumping on your bike and then putting your shoes on while you're cycling. And your helmet, you put your helmet on, and that's it. Coming off the bike, your shoes should already be off, still on the bike, and then you're just slipping on your running shoes and leaving. There shouldn't be much going on. It should be pretty quick, 30 seconds.
Pretty interesting. Now you're starting not just the program, but a sport that, like I said, has just started in the NCAA. And in addition, there's no triathlon in high school sports. So it's kind of a triple whammy for you to try and start this. How difficult or how easy has it been for you to try and get this going?
I would say it's a little bit of both. It's been, I would never use the word easy. It's not difficult. I think it's just finding the information is the difficult part. I think once the girls know what's available to them and getting able to touch with those people, I think once getting the information out and once we start our season in the fall, I don't think it'll be difficult. Because to me, this is just an amazing opportunity for high school kids to come into this. If they've been swimming, been running, and they just want to try something different, or they were swimmers and runners and they couldn't swim in high school because they wanted to run cross country. In Illinois, it's the same season. There's so many girls right now in high school and middle school that this is right up their alley. So I think once they see it in a race environment, or they even hear about it through word of mouth, I think it'll go great. I think it's just kind of just getting the ball rolling is the hardest part. But I think once some of the recruiting companies and USA Triathlon make recruiting portals that you can get in touch with people a little bit easier, other than that, I think it's not too bad.
Now, it's a sport next year, so you have sort of this lead-up time
this year.
To start
Actually,
recruiting.
It's this year.
It is this year?
It's the fall of 2016.
Right, so the next school year.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that this period of time right now is pretty busy for you trying to recruit and get athletes to come to North Central.
Yeah, it's. I started doing this in July last year, and that's pretty much, I would say, the majority of my time has been contacting people, following up with people, trying to get girls excited to come here. So I would say that's most of it. And also spreading the knowledge, I feel like, and kind of planting those seeds in younger kids and younger sophomores and juniors right now. So I feel like the team will grow exponentially in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, just because the relationships were a little bit harder to start later. But and we've also spent some time developing a race. We're going to be hosting an NCAA triathlon race on Labor Day. Everything isn't completely official yet, but I'm spending a lot of time working on that. And I think once we have that, and the spectators will come see that race, because it's on Labor Day on the parade route.
That's really cool.
I think that'll help a lot.
Awareness-wise.
Awareness and the excitement of the sport. It's an exciting sport to watch.
Pretty quick, pretty fast-paced, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sprint distance, so the girls winning, it'll be a little over an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, in your experience so far, have you found more success trying to recruit swimmers to become triathletes or runners? or kind of the hybrid, like you said, those athletes that want to be doing both that have to pick one or the other?
You know, right now we're kind of open to anything. Ideally, you're looking for kids that have a swimming background. Maybe they didn't swim in high school and they swam as a kid or middle school and then gave it up to focus on running in high school or something else. But ideally, you really do want that swimmer background. Because it is draft legal, you want these girls out of the water quicker. If they're not getting out of the water semi-quick, they'll get lapped out on the bike, which is something else. So because it's draft legal and there's more than one loop, if they get out of the water late and the first person comes back, then they can get disqualified. So you want a girl who's a decent swimmer, confident, open water. But really, I would recruit runners and swimmers and girls who maybe soccer players, you know, because they were runners before, or they did swim team. A lot of these kids that did all these sports are, you know, athletic in general, you know.
Now, I want to talk about your background because obviously you have enough that North Central wants you to coach this team. You have a lot of experience with triathlons and marathons, especially here in the local area. What kind of drew you to that sport?
To triathlon?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was finishing up high school, I went to Naperville North and I swam since I was 6 years old. I ran a little bit in high school. I was lifeguarding at Centennial Beach in Naperville, and this women's triathlon came to town when I was a senior in high school, and I thought, gosh, I'll just give it a shot, because I was lifeguarding there. So I tried it out, and I went off to college for a year or so, and I met someone at college that did triathlon, and kind of I sort of fell into it really when I was 18 or 19. And for me, everything, it just clicked. I realized that it was something that I was talented at, and I got invited to live at the Collegiate Resident Program at the Olympic Training Center. So for me, everything just kind of rolled. And I think a lot of girls don't realize this opportunity in triathlon and college triathlon. Like I wasn't even, you know, a state swimmer. I was a decent varsity swimmer, and I never really gave running a big shot. So I think once I discovered it, I was a great cyclist. You just have to commit to it and try something different and be willing to work hard. And the sky's the limit with triathlon because this is new. You get to travel, you get to race at all different levels. You know, so that's kind of how I got into it. And I feel like it kind of parallels what's going on with these girls coming into the sport now.
That's really cool. Thanks for stopping by, and best of luck in the fall. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really interested to see how this works out. So best of luck.
Too. Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
That'll do it for this edition of the Cardinal Report. For everyone here at NCTV 17, I'm Kevin Jackman. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks.